At the outpost military base, soldiers take up positions and get ready for combat when an alert goes off. There are reports of larger-than-life animals traveling at 20 kilometers per hour headed toward an enemy that has not yet been defined. The date between serviceman Oleg and Elena is 24 days prior to the events of the prologue. They return to his apartment later. All of a sudden, the world is completely dark, with the exception of the region surrounding Moscow and certain areas of Belarus, Ukraine, and Finland. Who knows what will happen to billions? Few individuals have survived in the region that comes to be known as the Circle of Life, and communications have been cut off to the rest of the world. They set up a defensive perimeter and send out reconnaissance units, but they never come back. They discover that there was an attack on Earth that claimed an unspecified number of lives. The humans build outposts and gather an army to repel the unidentified adversary. 9. A unit sweeps the lifeless cities outside the Circle of Life after departing to carry out a reconnaissance mission, and a soldier is ambushed and hurt. The stranger manages to flee as the other troops attempt to shoot him. The prologue reappears in the action. The outpost is plunged into darkness when the electricity is switched off in anticipation of an unidentified attacker. They open fire, learning that the opponent is actually a large herd of brown bears, and are told that animals larger than people are coming from the forest at a speed of 20 kilometers per hour. Not every soldier made it out alive the next morning. Oleg, who suffered damage to his leg, is one of the survivors. Some of the survivors from the edge of the quarantine zone are shown to have abilities in Moscow. Sasha seems to have a telepathic link to the attackers who are yet unidentified. Since Sasha's psychic link can find Eid's brother R.A., who is behind all of this, a mysterious person identifying himself as Eid approaches the patient Sasha and requests assistance. For troops, under the command of Marina, practice their guns at Eid. However, using his supernatural powers, Marina turns the weapons on her and offers to tell them everything in exchange for saving his life. Eid reveals during questioning that he is an extraterrestrial from a far-off star system that has long since ceased to exist. R.A. is the reason behind all of this, even if before that Eid believed he was the only one on Earth. But they want to relocate to Earth since in their constellation the star sun is still young and will have a long enough life. 200,000 years ago, he arrived on Earth, thus based on his calculations, the spacecraft carrying their troops will be here tomorrow. The issue is that he has no idea where R.A. is hiding, which is what keeps regular people outside of the Circle of Life in the dark. Only Sasha is aware of Ra's whereabouts. Eid burrows into Sasha's mind, revealing to him that R.A. is perched on a Kirov tower. R.A. himself recognized he had been located at that very time as he turned to face Sasha. R.A. gave the command to launch a missile attack upon the outpost when Eid made the decision to leave Sasha there. Eid, Genya, and the other soldiers, led by Mary, remain alive, nonetheless, since they had left the base in search of R.A. At this point, Yura joins the outpost's Satellite 9 group and discovers a little child in one of the apartments in the middle of the night. However, as Lieutenant Maxim is questioning the child about what transpired, the youngster kills him by pulling a knife out of Maxim's breeches. The other soldiers then shoot the boy to death in revenge. The gang that R.A. is in charge of is subsequently attacked by a large mob, leaving only Yura and Alya alive. They return to the outpost after robbing one of the abandoned cars. They hear that the outpost was destroyed by a large missile strike from the soldiers who are still alive, who are led by Marina and Major Dovlatov. Eid clarifies that R.A. would have killed them all otherwise and left him alone if Sasha had accompanied them. Together, they return to Kirov and come upon a mob of people that R.A. has influence over. They battle their way through a skyscraper, scale the roof, and eventually locate R.A. After fighting for some time, Eid manages to rip a gadget from Ra's chest, allowing Yura to murder Ra by shoving a grenade into his chest. Eid releases a telepathic pulse following Ra's death, which eliminates every last drone and causes them to instantaneously collapse. Osmolovsky queries Eid about their future plans. Eid responds that they will carry out their natural instinct, which is to kill. According to Eid, humans have developed to the point where they are now a menace to even extraterrestrial life. Ra was worried about this and decided to construct a religion for humans centered on love in the hopes that it would maintain humanity in a loving and peaceful state forever. Rather, people used religion as an excuse to engage in more hostilities and bloodshed. When the ship lands, Eid then gives the survivors orders to slaughter the colonists. After learning about everything, Jinya becomes upset and asks Eid why he did not arrive before the 8 billion people died. Eid responds that it would have upset the plan and made the approaching ship go into defense mode. Then he discloses his scheme, which calls for the survivors to kill the colonists and then rebuild civilization around Eid as their deity. Eid responds that he is the god they deserve when Jinya declares that he is the devil rather than God. Oleg confronts Eid in a fit of rage, but Yura stands up for him, telling him that Eid is their only hope for survival. Then, seeing that Eid had used his psychic talents to make Osmolovsky seem as him, Jinya leaps at him and stabs him fatally with a knife. As Oleg and Yura begin to struggle, Alya unexpectedly shoots Yura, injuring him. After Oleg shoots Eid, he reacts by pretending to be Oleg's father several times in order to divert his attention. But Jinya grabs hold of the opportunity and throws himself and the actual Eid from the roof, killing them both. A hatch opens as an alien spacecraft drops from the sky adjacent to a skyscraper. But for some reason, the aliens stay inside. While the injured Yura cries behind them, Elena, Alya, and Oleg make the decision to board the alien spacecraft. Everyone will die the same way. When they board the spacecraft, they discover that every alien has been asleep in a cryocapsule and has not yet awakened. When the cryocapsule's countdown timers go off, the 3 major protagonists choose to cut the oxygen supply pipes, killing themselves within the capsules and leaving them to perish without oxygen. They decide not to break the final tube since, as it turns out, it supplies oxygen to the capsules containing the alien offspring. When the timers on the capsules reach 0, the capsules open and the extraterrestrial children emerge. In front of them are 3 representatives of the planet Earth. To demonstrate that they won't hurt them, the latter willingly place their weapons on the ground in front of them.